Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about the possibility of a sequel to Solo and more. As always my dear Mandalorians, before we dive into it, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so, and also be sure to give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post new videos. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we're going to start with Solo. As you may or may not be aware, there was a hashtag going around called Make Solo 2 Happen. So we're going to take a look at why this hashtag was trending and what the chances are of getting a Solo 2. It all started yesterday when Bob Chapek claimed that a Han Solo series is in development before correcting himself. Chapek made this claim during an appearance at the JP Morgan Global Technology, Media and Communications Conference that was made available to the public. While touting Disney's upcoming content, he began listing off all of the major films and series from their big brands. Chapek stated, in the end, as you know in entertainment, it's all about content. Basically, by the end of the year, we've got 6 Marvel titles. This was followed by a false claim that they were working on a Han Solo series under Lucasfilm. In his own words, he said, we've got a Han Solo series for Star Wars, and then he corrected himself to say, I mean Boba Fett, we've got a Boba Fett series. Now, some fans on Twitter thought maybe this was a Freudian slip, and many people think there is actually going to be a Han Solo series or even a follow-up to Solo. The fact that he said Han Solo and Han Solo was on his mind might suggest that they are going to be working on a Han Solo series or even a second film to Solo. If you guys remember, a Solo Star Wars story spin-off series for Disney Plus was rumoured to be in the works back in September of 2019. Back then, Star Wars Unity's Jeremy Conrad reported at the time that he's heard a rumour that some kind of spin-off after the events of the movie is going to be developed. He went on to speculate that it could be some kind of underworld series dealing with the Crimson Dawn and other scoundrels like them. After Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy announced a Lando series last December, it was widely believed that the former rumours were accumulated in this upcoming show. Although Bob Chapek then went on to clarify what he meant when he said Han Solo instead of Boba Fett, there were a lot of Star Wars fans that took to Twitter and started using the hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen. Now, as someone pointed out on Twitter, which we'll get to in a minute, you can't underestimate the power that the fans have. If you guys think back to the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut, that proved to be very effective, so why couldn't it work in Star Wars? It goes back to that old saying, if fans make a fuss for long enough, they will in fact get what they want. While not being the best reviewed entry in the Star Wars franchise, Solo gave fans a brand new adventure based in the universe that offered more of the Force and plenty of Wookiee action. It also served as a launchpad to other sequels and even more spin-offs, which is always the case with any movie linked to one of the biggest franchises in the world. For that reason, many assumed that by now, 3 years on from Solo's release, there would have been some word from Lucasfilm about a new adventure for the roguish pilot of the Millennium Falcon. Interestingly, in spite of all of the new shows that we're getting, there's been a complete lack of update on whether or not there will be more outings for Solo. Having said that, there have been tons of rumours that we are going to see Han Solo and Qi'ra in the Mandalorian universe, and that could be in the Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian Season 3, Ahsoka or elsewhere. And if he does make a return, it will undoubtedly be in the form of Alden Ehrenreich. But just because there's been no official word from Lucasfilm, it doesn't mean that fans are going to let the possibility of a sequel go just yet. And they made their voices heard with a series of tweets that soon began trending, just like they did last year on the movie's 2nd anniversary. So let's take a look at one or two of these tweets, tweeting this picture of George at the Solo premiere for no other reason than to hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen. John Hoey, the creator of the hashtag, made numerous references to it, including pointing out that it took 7 years for Lucasfilm to further develop the Clone Wars, and that someone involved in that show told him the fans were indeed a big part of saving the show. So don't ever think your voice is insignificant in sharing what you love. Now, he's absolutely right, and even though Disney have shown time and time again that they don't listen to the fans, if we keep pushing for what we love and what we want, we will eventually get it. And the point here is that the fans are absolutely everything to Star Wars. And even if franchises don't listen to you at first, if you vote with your wallets, they will eventually hear you. The perfect example of this is The Mandalorian. It attracted so many new audiences to Disney Plus and even introduced them to Star Wars generally. And since fans basically said this is what we want, we are getting a Mandalorian universe, a whole range of shows which are based on The Mandalorian. Now I just want to say guys, when I say the word Mandalorian universe, I'm not implying that it's separate to Star Wars in general. I've seen a few comments saying I shouldn't use the term Mandoverse because it implies that it's completely separate to everything else in Star Star Wars. That's not what I mean at all. When I say Mandoverse, I'm not talking about an alternate reality of Star Wars, I'm just talking about the group of shows that take place during the Mandalorian timeline and connect back to the main show of Mando in so many ways. Just like when we say Skywalker Saga, it just denotes the group of films that are incorporated within that story. It doesn't mean that they're separate from the reality of the Clone Wars or Rebels or even the Mandalorian, it's just a way of grouping the shows. But I digress. What do you guys think about having a potential sequel to Solo: A Star Wars Story? Did you enjoy the first one? I don't really speak about it much on my channel, but I am fascinated to know what you guys think. So now, my friends, we're going to be talking about the Bad Batch. Is Commander Cody going to show up? That's the main question. And what are the plans for his character going forward? We're all curious to know what happened to him, and there were rumours that Temuera Morrison would be reprising the role in live action in the Kenobi series. That could still be happening, but the main question today is he going to show up in the Bad Batch? Well, something really interesting to note is that Dave Filoni almost made him a villain. And in the long run, Dave Filoni did have plans to incorporate him in later elements of the Star Wars universe. As this article rightly points out, Rex's return, which is confirmed in the Bad Batch, means that we might find out what happened to Cody. Since Captain Rex and Commander Cody were particularly close, having served side by side on numerous campaigns, Rex would likely know what happened to him. Obviously, the tragedy of Order 66 would be heartbreaking for any clone who escaped it, both because of what happened to the Jedi and because of the knowledge that the other clones were forced to comply. Much like Filoni's original vision for Cody, which was very dark and made him a villain, unfortunately there's no version of the story that ends happily for Cody, but he still deserves some proper on-screen closure. Hopefully the Bad Batch gives it to him. Some fans have theorized that Cody is going to appear in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and it would make sense since we saw him on screen with Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith. Either way, he has to appear in one of the two shows. He's a character which a lot of people love, and he deserves a proper conclusion. So finally, my friends, we're going to be talking about the Rise of Skywalker, which I know is quite divisive because a lot of you hate the sequels while a lot of you love the sequels, but I'm just going to report on this anyway. The Rise of Skywalker has undergone some changes over the last few days, and when you watch on Disney Plus now, it may look a bit different. So according to this article, Disney has made some light changes to Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker that's going to reshape the way you watch the film. The first change is that there's no more blue hue. If you first saw The Rise of Skywalker in cinemas, then you would have noticed a lot of blue lighting, especially on Exegol. They've now changed this. The second change is captions with the Jedi voices that Rey hears. During the final battle of Exegol between Rey and Palpatine, we see names such as Anakin, Luminara Unduli, Aayla Secura, but before it was just Female Jedi 1, Female Jedi 2, etc. The final change that they've made, and you've probably noticed this one, is adding new fan art to honour May the 4th. But that's not in the film itself, that's just on the Disney Plus page when you click on Star Wars. But that is all of the news I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also, my friends, if you're feeling generous, please consider becoming a patron. For just $2, $10, or even $50 a month, you get exclusive access to content that's not found here on YouTube, and that includes access to my Forgotten Characters series, Star Wars Explained videos, my megasodes, fan art which I make, and if you choose the highest tier, you get to speak to me once a month for 60 minutes. The link is in the description, so I really hope you check that out. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. I'll see you tomorrow.